Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to Mallory's Weird World Adventures, the podcast. I'm your host, Mallory.
And I'm your host, Michael.
And we're here to show you just how weird this world of ours really is. We got back very recently from Iceland.
It was a couple weeks ago.
It was
you
still
recently.
Went
other places.
Well, that's fair. And then I had those hard book deadlines, so...
Hard book deadlines. And I've been sick for 3 out of the last 4 weeks.
So...
Courtesy of our daughter.
Yay! But Iceland! We just got back from Iceland.
That was the 1 week I wasn't sick, so that worked out well.
Yeah, it was great.
Last month.
Womp womp.
Womp womp.
Yeah. Well, Iceland is one of those places that everyone at one point in time has told me I need to go there. I feel like it's so mainstream and so many people go there, but it's also freakishly weird.
It's really weird.
It's really weird. For those who don't know, I guess, it's kind of a volcanic wasteland for most of it. It's pretty, just volcanic rock.
The whole thing is basically like a series of active, semi-active, dormant volcanoes.
Yeah. And there's black sand beaches because, volcano. And there's just random weird patches of pretty grass and trees, but very, very, very
very little trees though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scrubland looking stuff, but not a lot of foresty big tree area. It's shrubland.
We spent the night in that one bubble, and it was literally in this tiny patch of trees. The only patch of trees we saw.
Did they manufacture that forest? Do you know?
Maybe.
It was so specifically in that area.
Imperfect.
That it just seemed like maybe they planted these trees for the bubbles.
I don't know. I honestly don't. It was interesting. But yeah, we rented a car because why wouldn't we, right? And well, I mean, it's one of those places you have to be able to get around.
Yeah, unless you were just going to stay in downtown Reykjavik.
Right. Or you're going to stay at the resort and you're not going to leave. Yeah. Because resorts a lot of times, I think they had a bus that would take you there, but you have to okay, well, I'm just going to be here the whole time. Right. So really, if you're going for the experience, you need to rent a car.
But they drove on
our
the same side as the U.S.
Yeah.
And
most of the world.
All the signs were in Icelandic and English for the most part. So it was pretty...
It felt just like driving in Germany and Eastern Europe and everywhere else. And it was pretty easy. And...
So you got ran off the road.
Oh my God, I got ran off the road by a bus.
The worst driving I've ever seen.
Yeah. The 2 cars in front of me passed a bus, and the bus was kind of being aggro. I should have just stayed back, but I don't like not being able to see, and I had time to pass him, so I'm well, they're passing him, let me just pass in the back. And he let the first 2 cars pass, and then decided, no, I'm not going to let this girl pass.
This wasn't there was one lane and you're over in the other lane, on the oncoming lane. It wasn't a one-way each way street.
No.
It's pass. It was just a normal 2-lane main highway.
Yes.
And we were in the passing lane.
And he sped up to keep me from getting in front of him to the point where the lane closed. And I was trying to get over, and he, instead of letting me over, just aggro honked at me and ran me off the road.
You were fully in front of him.
I was fully in front of him.
Literally ran. I've never seen anybody. He ran you into the oncoming traffic lane.
Yes.
That's what happened.
Yep. It's insane.
Yeah, I've never been boxed in like that. There was
crazy.
A car in front of you, a car behind you, and the bus would neither speed up or slow down, enough to
let something
get on
happen.
One side of the bus. Yeah.
And then proceeded to just aggro at me instead of do anything at all. And then the car behind him was oh my God. They slammed the brakes and let me over oh my gosh. Couldn't believe it happened. It was scary. And Iceland is a place of mythical wonder. It has It has some of the strangest belief systems.
You have to pardon my cough.
It has some of the strangest belief systems. Strangest. And it's in a weird place because it's partially under the Arctic Circle, and I think the north part is partially just above the Arctic Circle. It's in a weird layout. So they do have the full on polar night and midnight sun. So it got mildly dusky while we were there around 11 p.m. And then the sun came fully back out at like 3 in the morning.
3. It was never fully dark.
Never.
Yeah.
So it's just this interesting world. And
also, the animals didn't know what to do with that either.
They didn't.
There were birds up the whole like day or at night, 24. There was birds awake chirping 24/7.
Yes.
And the last place we went, the Bubble, we went past the farmland to get there. And there's just, we got in at like midnight and it's not dark and the horses are just out grazing as if it was,
midday, like
whatever. Whatever.
And it was bizarre. And our first stop was something I've always wanted to do for Weird World. He's laughing because it was bizarre.
Man.
I always wanted to go to elf school.
Elf
school. So they have an elf school in Iceland, supposedly, where they teach you how to hunt for mythical elves and all the interesting things about elves and hidden people and like the mythological creatures of Iceland. And I read
Icelandic
about it.
mythology.
Yes. I read about it and I had to do it. And so I set up this private experience with Magnus. And we get there, and it's definitely just kind of like in his house. It was in like a storefront up there, but it had a kitchen, and they probably lived there.
Yeah. It was hard to tell. But you could live there. It was livable.
Yes.
Where we were was like a library area.
Yeah, it was like his office / library.
Yeah.
And it was him, and then his husband made us treats.
Which were quite good.
Really good.
Also, he ate that, like, crepe in
one bite.
Oh,
yeah. He's like, crepe eating contest.
You win.
Oh, my gosh. And then they're a floofy little puppy who started out floofy and then went and got a haircut while we were there. Yeah. And then came back floofy.
It was 2 different puppies.
It was.
By the time we left.
And I think we both got there and thought, oh my gosh, what have I gotten us into? What has Mallory gotten us into? It was a little interesting. And, he's like, all right, well, let's do this. What do you want to know? So we just start asking him questions about elves on camera for 2 hours. And he had
some good stories.
He did. He was a very great storyteller, and he did firmly believe in elves. And then he was talking to us about the different types of elves, and like they had very specific size requirements.
It was very fleshed out lore.
Yes. And my favorite was the hidden folk, because they're people-sized elves, like Legolas. And they dress in old-timey clothes, and they appear to those who are psychic. So you can only see them if you're psychic. If you're attuned to the naturalism of Iceland.
So I did not see them.
You did not see them. And Magnus has gone on trips with people who can see them, but he couldn't see them.
So he's not psychic.
He's not psychic. Yeah, he said he couldn't see them. So we had a very interesting conversation with him, which will be on the next season of Weird World Adventures. Yes. And he really had a crush on Michael.
Well,
he did.
Don't blame him.
And he liked to make ridiculous faces at the camera every so often for good measure.
Just breaking that fourth wall.
He didn't really like that I really liked the Yule Cat.
Yeah, he really hated the Yule Cat, very specifically. He asked you what you want to know, and you kept going back. You had several things, but you kept going back to the Yule Cat.
Because it was the Yule Cat.
He did not want to talk about the Yule Cat. He tried the first one just to kind of talk about the other stuff and just pretend you didn't say Yule Cat, but you forced it. I want to know about the Yule Cat. And he finally was like, the fucking goddamn Yule Cat. Mallory wants to know so much about the fucking Yule Cat. He was so angry about that Yule Cat.
He was. And it's funny because he didn't mind the Yule lads, but he sure didn't like that Yule Cat. Yeah. And Grilla, he's like, oh yeah, she's great. I have her figurine up here, but not that cat. Not that damn cat.
That cat.
But yeah, that was our first day experience. was Magnus getting in from the plane, and Michael being really hungry and wanting Sparrow very specifically.
Well, we saw it.
They wouldn't let us.
We didn't have it.
Yeah, so apparently, I've never seen this before, but they were very aggro about it when we were coming back too. When you're in the airport in Iceland, you can only purchase anything if you are like about to depart the airport. You cannot purchase anything.
Have a boarding pass.
Yeah, you have to have a boarding
pass. To get
pass.
on a plane. We were like, got off the plane, and that was not acceptable. I was like, so you're not going to let me buy a piece of pizza?
Yes. You can't order anything if you're coming off a flight. You have to be only going on a flight. So,
it's just one of those things where,
yeah.
I haven't had a Sbarro, just big, greasy slice of pizza in a long time, and then you see it.
And you want it.
And I want it. And they were like, you can't have it. I was like, what? Like, I have real money. What do you mean? I have U.S. dollars and I have Icelandic krona and I've got a bunch of credit cards. And you're telling me I can't get a slice of pizza?
Right.
Of greasy ass Sbarro.
You know what?
Pizza?
You had a Malorie moment. That's what happened to me in Shanghai Disney.
Don't ever say I had a Malorie moment. Oh.
Wow. When I was in Shanghai Disney, only 2 restaurants in the entire park took foreign credit cards. Everyone in China at the time was paying on like a QR code on their phone that was hooked up like through the government. Like everyone had a whole payment thing through their phone. And if you were not a Chinese citizen, you couldn't buy food.
I mean,
unless it was
really
2 places.
Tough. Because it's not like you're in a random restaurant in China. You're at Chinese Disney.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of
foreigners. And I went to like 3 different food stalls for people to say, no, we can't take this. No. Before I had to go to like the customer service help desk and just say, I'm hungry.
Help me eat.
Please just let me get, and it wasn't like, there was a Starbucks outside of Shanghai Disney that I had just sat in because I got there so early before the park opened. So it wasn't like an everywhere thing. It was just a Disney thing. It was in the park.
That's where you would want that rule because it's going to be so many tourists visiting that aren't going to have their government swipey, whatever the system is in place.
It was very horrible, and I was so hungry and so hangry, and I started getting in that weird, like, I'm going to pass out if I don't eat food. So I went to the customer service desk.
That's a daily occurrence, by the way.
But
you act like that's uncommon. I regularly get home from work, and you're just like, I'm going to pass out. You can just eat. No one, there's food here.
No one stopped you. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, I was directed to one of 2 restaurants that took my credit card, and it was inside the Pirates ride. It was pretty cool, and it was delicious, so it worked out. I got some noodles.
Well, thank God.
Thank God I didn't die. But yeah, the Sbarro, and then to top it all off, there was a Sbarro on the way to the hotel, and it was also closed.
Yeah.
For the next couple hours.
Just rub it in my face. I could not get that greasy piece of pizza. I will say, other than that, at least coming from the U.S., Iceland was very easy to navigate.
Yes.
They took both, I think they took U.S. dollars,
they took U.S.
cash
dollars,
everywhere. They took euros, Icelandic krona.
Yeah. Krona.
And all of our credit cards worked. I usually bring one of each because you just never know which one. But I think all of them had no issues. So
they expect U.S. tourists. Everyone is very friendly. Everyone's very nice. It's just very weird in the landscape, the mythology, and just kind of the people, but in a great way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
they're a little bit like crazy. Like you kind of crazy.
Yeah, like me kind of crazy. Yeah, they're my people. Yeah. And they
like it. They lean into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Definitely. Yeah. Everything we did, someone was crazy in a good way.
Right.
And then we stayed. We're gonna do a whole podcast on Hotel Ranga, but it was very cool. So we stayed there.
Very cool, very swanky.
We'll talk about that next time. But
that gets its own.
Does.
Okay.
It does. And so we had Magnus, who was the crazy elf man, who was just great. And then we went to the hotel, kind of got stuff together, did the elf school, went back. We did a lot of driving. I like driving in other countries to kind of get a feel for everything. And then the next day...
It was an interesting place to drive.
It was.
Just the landscape is very... it almost looks like you're driving on Mars or something.
Yeah.
For a lot of it. Also, a lot of where we were and a lot of what's built up is along the coastline because I think the middle of the island is largely pretty...
It's national park and
volcanoes, right? It's not
geysers.
Like traversable terrain, like super easy to build on usable terrain.
No.
So for a lot of it, there's like a main road that loops the entire circumference of the island. Mm-hmm. And there's just a lot of stretches where on one, to your left is ocean.
Yeah.
And to your right is a volcano.
Right. Yeah.
And you're just driving on the little flat area in between the water and the mountain. Volcano mountain.
You saw a lot of that because that was also the Blue Lagoon day. When we went into Reykjavik a couple times too, we took a different way, which was also distinctly weird and beautiful in a totally different way, where it was like just rocks everywhere and bizarre rock formations.
There's just areas where steam's coming out of the ground because there's just active volcanoes.
Yeah, they said that most
geothermal water coming up out of the ground. Yeah.
Most people in Iceland, they said, don't need hot water because they just like direct it out of the ground, like the hotel.
Don't heat it. Yeah,
they don't heat it. They just pull the water out of the ground. Yeah.
Comes hot.
It comes hot out of the ground.
It said 98%. It was something like it was just basically all of it was just heated for you.
Yes, which was cool. And the second day, Mike did the interview at the Penis Museum.
My big moment.
Yes.
I finally made it.
Your Icelandic Phallological
Museum. I think this is going to be my big break.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And that guy, too, was weird in such a great way. His name was Thordor.
If my name was Thordor and I was the head of the Penis Museum, every person would be getting my business card.
Yeah.
I don't care if you didn't ask for it. You're getting it.
And his email is thordor@phallus.org.
Yeah. I mean, really.
I mean, it was great. And he was just lovely. He had like a little bit of the man bun going on. He looked like, I know about penises. And he did. He sure did.
He looked like a man that knows the right on a dick.
We were walking through, and
if I had that business card, by the way, I would. Sorry, I put a lot of thought into this. I would have it, Thordor at dickmuseum.org or whatever you want to like have it be. But I would make the card a little too big, like not standard size, right? So like people go to put it in there while they're like,
just doesn't fit. Oh
yeah,
God.
that happens a lot around me.
Just
a little too big, huh?
We thought a lot about this.
I know.
Well, they had many animal penises on display, and he told you about all of them in great detail. He's like, this one does this special thing, and this one does this special thing.
This one's got barbs. Like, oh.
To make ovulation happen.
Is that how that works?
That's what he said.
No, I know. I'm asking you. You're the one with the,
Apparently
ovulations.
humans used to do that. That's what he said. He knew so much, and I had so many questions.
But humans used to do it. An ancestor.
I know.
It's not like Homo sapiens used to have barbed
humanoids.
penises.
I know.
Do you know?
I do know.
Okay.
I do know. I was thankfully behind the camera for that because I don't think I could have done it. It would have been weird if he was mansplaining penises to me. It really was like the right move to have it to be you. You guys, it looked like two men, like
admiring a really nice penis.
Yes, that's what it looked like, and that was the much better version of
like that giraffe penis. It was almost as tall as I was.
Oh my God, that was crazy.
That wasn't even the biggest penis.
The sperm whale penis was pretty big.
But that was only a part of it. That's the thing. It was as tall as I was, and it was only a part of it.
And he said the elephant ones, there's like rumors they could use it as another leg.
It was literally another leg. Like the joke, like a third leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
get, people tell me.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Sorry, I mean, you let me lead the Penis Museum interview. This is going to happen. But yeah, unironically, he was like, the elephants can use it as like a fifth leg.
Yeah.
Is this just a third leg joke? But they have four. They walk on four, so it's a fifth leg joke. It's like no.
They do that.
It's an actual I'm just gonna lean upon my fifth leg over here. And there was an example of it. I believe it.
Horrifying. Yeah. What was your
favorite? Did the elephant one look wood to you?
It did.
It looked wooden. I thought it was fake at first. No, I think it was like just partially like petrified.
That's solid too, I think. Yeah. And the owner of the museum, the original person that founded it, he just recently passed away, and he had himself cremated and put in a penis urn in the museum.
Yeah. I wish I had met that guy. He seemed like an awesome. I did like that. It's set up to be very like informative now.
It is.
But so I was like, is this like? Do we all know that this is a kind of funny thing? And I got the impression they did because you go into when you walk in, there's a bar and like a little restaurant and a gift store.
It's all crazy.
And it's like fun. Like the gift store is funny, right?
Yes.
So I was like, all right, like
they have to know.
They have to know. But literally the first thing the guy says when we're interviewing him is like, so it started as a joke. And I'm like, okay, good. Okay, so we all recognize that like starting a penis museum is a joke, right? And he's like, yeah, the guy just liked making this joke. It's like, I guess so, because it's a whole museum of this joke. Oh, yeah. And then he died, had himself cremated, and put in a penis urn back in his own museum. So he committed to that joke. That is commitment.
Love. Yeah. What was your favorite display? Yeah, penis.
Their display. Oh man. I mean, I identified with the whale room personally.
Right. Right.
I mean, the whales were fun. They're so big. They're like comically big. They also like don't necessarily look like penises, like what you would, as a human, would think.
Well, they even had human penises that didn't look like penises to me in the jar. They didn't. They didn't, right? I mean, I'm not wrong.
Yeah, it was crumpled, maybe.
I don't know. It was weird.
I don't know. It was weird. The whale ones are just, I mean, who's not going to, they're the biggest penises. Obviously, everyone's going to go. Right. The giraffe one surprised me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it was huge and just all of a sudden, like you turn a corner and there's just in the middle of the floor is this giant one. Let's see. I mean, which they had them kind of by like species or like
kind of
or
they were thematic.
They were thematic.
I know what my
there was like a group that were kind of sharp.
Yes,
they were like pointed.
Alarming. Yeah, that was alarming.
Which group of animals was that?
That was with the sea life, right?
The sea life. There was a pointed area of the sea life, and then there was a land area that was also pointed. Mm. They looked like the kind of thing that would hurt you. I mean,
right. You're like, I don't
injure
know,
you. I did like that. Several of the species actually have penis bones. Mm. You know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So boners not that far off.
Right.
There actually are types with bones. Yeah. Penis bone.
Right. I liked the mythological creature room. They had a room dedicated to mythological creature penises. God, you're
right. I don't know why I didn't even think
of that.
That
was the best.
The last room is just a full joke.
And it's they like makeshift like ridiculous, but my favorite one, they had a jar for a hidden folk penis.
Yeah.
And because you have to be psychic to see the hidden folk, it was invisible.
No, I saw it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I saw it just fine.
Yeah, right. So you can only see it if you're psychic. But you said you couldn't see the hidden folk.
I lied.
Wow.
I could see the dick.
Okay. That one you wanted to see.
Fifth dick sense.
Right.
Yeah. that one I believed in. It's like a Christmas tree. I can still hear the jingling of the bells. If you really believe, you can still see the hidden folk penis. I think it's the same story.
Definitely.
I mean, that room had, a quote unquote troll penis. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we go into that room, and I know the whole thing is kind of a joke, but a lot of it is informative up till then. And you go into this room, and this room is just clearly now a joke because it's fake penises about fake creatures. And he just doesn't break stride.
No.
And he's just, as if he's describing the giraffe penis, starts describing the troll penis. Like, I think this is probably an adolescent troll penis.
And he's so straight-faced.
But we know that these aren't real.
So straight-faced. Yeah, it was so
It was good. It was good. You did a good job.
That interview is also going to be in Weird World Adventure Season 2. I don't know how much we can show on TV.
The 4 words that are allowed on TV. I don't know. But it wasn't crude.
It wasn't crude, but I wonder if they have to blur it and then have a special watch it online, to see the full experience. I don't know how that's gonna work.
How am I gonna have my big break if?
Well, it's all just gonna be blurred behind you.
Well, I can't work under these conditions.
I mean, I feel like maybe we just give it a rating that's like this episode is R. There's a lot of penises in it. I don't know. I have to think that one through. Right. But you will be able to watch the interview with the penises somewhere.
Yes.
And then we went inside a volcano.
Well, I did get also in the gift shop a nice penis stein. I collect steins from all the countries I go to, and I was, what better stein for Iceland than the Phallus Museum penis stein? So it's right up there.
It's pretty good. I liked your shirt.
The shirt's good too.
Phallicizing. Yeah.
You know, phallicized.
Yeah.
Phallicized.
Yeah.
Phallicized.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. I do consider myself a bit of a philosopher.
Then we went inside a volcano.
Yeah.
Which was also very
I'm really glad I did it.
Yes.
Because I was like, oh, fuck. Oh. Sorry, this is an explicit episode. I've just been dropping the F-bombs and just launched into a tirade about dicks, so no getting around this one, I think, at this point.
No. This one doesn't get ads. This one's explicit.
Oh, that sweet ad money that we've been bringing in.
So this volcano, I distinctly remember them saying it's the only volcano you can actually go into. You thought they said active. We're going to have to look this up. I thought they said active. Now I have to look it up. But you talk about it, I'm going to look it up.
Okay.
It's deeper down than the Statue of Liberty, I will say. I
didn't need to see that height chart before we went in. So everything about that kind of caught me by surprise. I mean, I know you told me we were going in a volcano, and I know you asked me ahead of time how I felt about it, but it was months and months before we did. So I'm just like, oh, whatever. Yeah, sure. Whatever you want to do. Whatever, sweetheart. But I guess I just zoned on just the whole day. There's
one volcano in the world that allows you to descend into its magma chamber. Okay. In Iceland. I can't read the name of this volcano.
I don't even know what those letters are.
Fringhálsjökull.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah, in Iceland. It is the only volcano you can go into in the world.
Yeah. Well, despite Mallory's wonderful pronunciation of that volcano, you probably won't have any trouble finding it by just searching
only volcano you can go into. Yes.
But yeah, we showed up at the place, and I just had nothing. I had nothing planned, right? I just wore my whatever shorts and shoes, and we get there, and as we're walking, I was like, how long?
4 hours.
You're like 4 hours. Like 4 hours.
Yeah.
I just assumed we would drive up to the volcano, and go in and be out. I don't know, kind of like a Luray cavern.
Yeah.
I don't know, you just walk in.
Yeah.
I don't know what I had. I had nothing pictured. We show up. We're at a hut in the middle of nowhere. I will say a lot of Iceland looks middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
which
it does.
Is very cool. And you're like, it's 4 hours. I'm like, what? And it's near a bunch of volcano-looking mountains. So I just figured one of the ones it's next to are going to be the one we're going to.
Yeah.
We're there. It's like a 2-mile hike. I'm like, what? Where are we going? And it's just, we were hiking just
through a national park.
It's just volcanic wasteland, which was very cool. But
over the 2 tectonic plates that kind of cut through a lot of Iceland.
There's a little bridge that you cross, and you're crossing from the North American plate to the Eurasian plate, right?
Yeah.
Which is cool in itself.
Cool. Yeah.
And you go out to another hut that's the actual base camp.
Yeah.
2 miles deep into the middle of
nowhere. And you kind of go a little bit up. It was mostly flat, but a little bit up.
At the very end.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, well, now you're at base camp, and you can sit here and have some coffee and hot cocoa and get ready to go into the volcano. And you get these suits on, helmet.
Yeah, I don't love heights. That's the thing I don't love. And we're suiting up, and we're gonna put you in these rappelling harnesses. And I was like, "What is happening? I'm not rappelling. This has been. And then you're not gonna you're not gonna rappel." I'm like, "Well, then you're not giving me a lot of confidence by suiting me up in this thing either, though." And then you hike up to the top of the volcano, which is the only steep part of it's just a 2-minute.
Yeah, and there's a bridge over it.
It's literally just a hole at the top of this mountain.
With a bridge over it.
A bridge is a very generous term for what that thing was. It was a scaffold, just a metal scaffold that clearly was just kind of placed there and drilled into the wall, the whole walls
and
of the hole.
They make you secure your rappel. You have to wear the rappelling thing because you're securing yourself to.
But I still failed. But it's not a bridge. Okay, yes, you're on. They secure you to the bridge while you walk. Again, a bridge. It's a scaffold. Like you're walking along a catwalk, basically.
It had sides, though. But yeah,
whatever. You walk out. You walk out across this hole on this very narrow metal bridge, and you're like harnessed to it, and then you get to the
elevator.
Sure, if you call it that. It's another generous word for it. It's just another catwalk suspended on cables with the clearly visible motors that are running thing like right there. It's just
I showed my friend a picture of it. I said, "This is the elevator we went down," and she's like, "That's a window washing."
Yes,
thing.
That's what it. Yes,
yeah,
that's
like
what
the window washing.
The window washing on the
like
sky.
Pulley.
Right.
Yeah.
That is exactly what it looked like.
Yep.
I mean, I probably was that. Probably bought it from a company that sells those, right?
Yeah.
And they hook you to that, like they hook you. Which to me, I was like, in my head, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. If this thing fails, like if this thing crashes, you've now hooked me to it. In my head, there was like a 0.0001% chance of me being like, I grabbed the wall on my way down and am dangling. But now you've attached me to the thing that would fail, so like I'm definitely going down with it now. If this goes down, this isn't hooked to anything different.
Yeah.
And I get on that thing, I was like, oh fuck, like I don't know if I can like go down on this thing. And then it's just too late. Like you're going, and you're just standing there with 8 other people.
And it starts like it kind of like sways.
Well, right at the beginning, like the tightest part of the hole is right at the top. And the guy, I mean, to his credit, did say as we're going down, it's gonna bounce off the wall on the back, or it's gonna roll off the wall. They have like a section that's so tight that it just fits. Like I don't even know if you would have been able to like keep your finger on the outside of it without like getting it crushed between. And there was treads on the one side of it, and it just kind of rolls like off those treads for that one small section. But then it's just swaying. And I was like, I am just swaying. You can't see the bottom. You have no idea how high up you are.
And that was kind of a blessing, though.
I had a worse time coming up because I knew how high it was.
Yes. Yeah. When you don't really know, it's not quite as bad. And I don't love things that feel like insecure.
It felt very insecure.
So I didn't love it either. And I had the GoPro, and I made the conscious effort of, I have 2 GoPros. And one, I'm going to hold in my hand and point down. So it's filming going down. I don't have to look at all. And then I'm going to look straight ahead at the wall.
I also took the camera, the good camera, and just pointed it down.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is getting something, because I'm not looking at what it's getting.
Yeah, it was a real adventure.
I mean, I'm glad we did it. Like, it was very so cool. And when you're at the bottom, it is really wild.
The rock formations are, like, in all the different types of rocks they were telling us about, and they're explaining how the lava blast.
Yeah, you can, like, see where it
exploded
changes.
Out. Yeah. And then they have a little track down there. You can walk this little path around the circle of it.
Fairly well lit down there. They had it pretty well set up.
But the path was difficult. It involved some scrambling to kind of get around. Like, they said,
I just figured like the inside of a volcano would be way better paved.
Right, definitely. Well, they gave us 30 minutes. It took like the whole 30 minutes to kind of get around.
We took our time. And,
we did.
Yeah, but yes, it was.
And then some people just sat there. I'm like, I don't know why you would just go all the way. Through that to sit there.
There were like half the people that went down just sat at the bottom. I was like, why are you down here?
Right. I mean, you might as well commit at this point.
I'm not trying to be like an little bit like, that was the scary part, right? Don't you want to walk around?
Right. You walked 2 miles. And
you walked 2 miles, went down the black swaying hole in a window washer scaffold.
Like higher, you went deeper down than the Statue of Liberty is tall. Like.
Yeah, I mean, it would be if you took the window wiping scaffold
on the Statue of Liberty
over the top of the Statue of Liberty. Yeah.
So you did all that, and
then now I'm gonna sit here.
Yeah, it
was at the bottom and not move.
It was weird.
And then get back on and go back up like 2 miles back.
Going back up was way scarier.
Yes.
Because then you knew how
we also watched the thing go back up and get new people. And I was like, wow, that's.
Yeah. It was going back up. I was definitely.
I'm really glad I did it. Yes. I don't know if I would be able to do it again. Like now, now that
you know.
Fully know. Yeah.
It was very cool though, and again, you went inside the only volcano you can actually go in the world.
Yeah. Yeah,
and then
that volcano.
That one. Yeah. And it was also cool because of the base camp up at the top, they served everybody soup.
At the end, yeah. It was pretty good.
Really good. It was.
And we saw Arctic foxes. Were they Arctic?
Two Arctic foxes. Yeah, they had a white one and like a fluffy gray one, and they've been feeding them. I guess they relocated them there. They said, and they were feeding them. Okay. And so they kind of came over and would eat from the people there. So she'd make this noise, and it would like come out and come over.
I'm eating stuff noise.
It was so cute. It was unbelievably fluffy. It like popped up and we're like, what is? Look how fluffy it is.
It's a volcano rat.
It kind of did look a little mangy.
Looked a little ratty.
But I mean, wild animal. He was cute though. He was super cute. Oh. And they didn't get along. The white one like intimidated the other one and scared it away. I know. Nature. They're all jerks.
They were all bros.
Bros
and hoes.
I like they had a shirt in there too. You got your penis shirt and your penis stein. Mm-hmm. I got it was a picture of the volcano, like the chamber, and it just said like volcano and then me at the bottom. I like that shirt. That was a good shirt.
It's a good shirt. Mm-hmm. I think we know who got the better shirt.
Wow. Also, Iceland just has a divide in it from the two tectonic plates. And it goes through more of it than I was thinking because we went to one corner of the continent, basically, right there, the island, where it was the bridge between two worlds. Where it was like the beach where you could actually get the sand in between that was there.
You can sit between the two.
You can sit in it, which was cool.
That's cool.
And then they had a bridge there in that park where it also went through. And it was more like rocky and there was water and some caves. And then if we kept going further towards the center of the island, they have that place where you can dive between the two plates.
Center?
It's in the center.
I had it pictured like off the coast.
Yeah, it was like further up and out.
Okay.
And it's you can walk it, but then you can swim it or snorkel it. But the water is so cold. They were saying that a lot of people like they've had multiple fatalities.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't say a lot of people, but yes, people have died.
Yes. If you hear anything about fatalities for it, and you're like, oh boy, but I mean, because of cold water. But
also, like scuba diving
it's dangerous.
Dangerous, yeah.
I will say, if I had not scuba dove before I got certified and saw how wonderful it was, like in a good place, like we were in Honduras. Honduras is the number 2 place to dive in the world. Has the second largest barrier reef next to Australia. Beautiful, wonderful experience. Had I not done that, I would have probably like really thought about quitting certification because the entire certification is, well, this is how you could die. You could also die like this. You could also die like this. If we teach you this, you might not die when this happens. I mean, it was so aggressive. And I know you have to be because it is dangerous. Yeah. But the entire course is just, these are all the ways in which you could die. And here is what you could do to maybe not die. So
maybe not die. We don't guarantee. No guarantees are made about the not dying part.
Yeah, and they make you face a lot of fears. Like you go in and it's basically, okay, we're gonna take off your mask and you're gonna be blind, and you're gonna have to find it and put it back on and push the water out of it, all underwater, while you're under the water. So you have to do these things that are scary. Well, if you put your 2 hands above the top here. And just blow out, it'll blow the air out.
Okay.
And then that's how you do it. And then you get the air out.
Got it.
Or you get the water. It blows the water out.
Okay.
You can actually drink oxygen out of water through your respirator. So you take the respirator out at a point and like press it and like sip oxygen.
No, like sip the bubbles.
You sip the bubbles and you can breathe. It's like there's cool stuff like that too. But then a lot of it is just.
You know what I used to like to do? I know this is not scuba diving, but I used to like to go into like a pool and get like a floating raft or something and trap air underneath it.
That's
and
fun.
Just stay underwater for like as long
it's cool.
Just get a giant bubble of water and just kind of just hang out down there, and every time I would need air I would just I've got like the umbrella of bubble and you can stay in there like 15-20 minutes just chilling at the bottom of the pool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It was very cool. It was really intense. And then when you get certified in Los Angeles, the water's cold. The Pacific is much colder than the Atlantic. It's like at least 50 degrees in the summer. And the visibility the day I had to, because you do 2 shore dives, and then you do we did a fun dive day, off at a dive park, which was way better. And our two beach dive day, the visibility was 5 feet.
Yeah.
So I could see my partner's like ankle in front of me. It was horrifying. I mean, like really and truly horrifying. But I'm glad I did it because I've dove in some great places, but LA was not one of them. And getting certified is scary.
Yeah. I'm not certified.
Yep. I know. We got to get you certified.
I know. I'd like to be.
It's
on the bucket list.
Yeah, we definitely need to do that. Because then we can go diving in Silfa, where you can go between 2 tectonic plates.
Yeah. And maybe die.
And I guess the last day, so we filmed all these great interviews and cool experiences for Weird World. And then the last day, we're like, we're going to go to Blue Lagoon.
Hey, it was good content, too.
It was great. So we spent the day at Blue Lagoon,
I feel like you have to go to Blue Lagoon. It's like the famous
It's the famous tourist trap. Everyone I know that's been to Iceland has been to Blue Lagoon. Right. Like, oh yeah, it's just the place you go. Yeah. And it's just these thermal pools. Like it's a big thermal pool at the kind of the foot of an active volcano.
Well, yeah, it's heating it.
Mm-hmm. And they have, bars for drinks and like green smoothies and all this stuff. And then they have a face mask bar. And if you get your premium ticket or whatever, you get your 3 face masks throughout the day. And it's just a really fun place to like sit and hang out.
It's very cool looking because the water is
blue.
That like very minerally blue.
It's like whitish mineral blue. Yeah, it's very. And then there's like that white residue it leaves on everything.
Is it silica? Is that what the white stuff is?
Silica was the mud for them, so maybe.
I don't know.
The mud mask was silica.
I'm just making stuff up.
And we got a massage.
Yeah,
which
you
was
did sneak
really
in that
cool.
massage.
Well, they said there weren't any massages available, and somebody walked into a massage hut and said, "Is this where I go for the massages?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like, well, I'm going to go see if they have one. And I just walked right in. And apparently, I guess it was part of the hotel. And I just went right up and said, I really want to get a massage. But, I couldn't, get one booked before. Is there any way to make that happen? And the guy was just like, okay.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah. And I think he tried to call the friend of the hotel and realized that, like, he couldn't find my name. And then figured it out and booked us the massage. Yeah, so it was great. It was great. But it was like, you're not laying on your stomach like you'd think for a massage. You're laying on your back, floating on this like floaty in the mineral water with a blanket over you.
A raft with a like blanket towel.
A blanket
towel
on purpose to keep you warm and they
kind
push
of
you
in the
water every so often to make sure that you're warm. And for me, my ears were under the whole time.
See, I don't know if I would rather have that. I don't know. He offered me stuff and I just accepted all of it. I wasn't sure exactly what he was offering because my ears were kind of wondering. He's like, "You want this and this?" And I was like, "Yes, I'll take the stuff."
Yeah.
And I was above. It was like a pillow. Mm-hmm. So my ears were out of the water.
It reminded me of floating, like those sensory deprivation pods.
I've never done that either.
Because I was just completely like, my ears were under. So it's like you're floating in the water and you can't hear anything, and so I couldn't hear him. And he was trying to talk at one point. I'm like, I can't hear anything that's happening up there. And
just do whatever, man.
And then he's, like they massage you from underneath.
Yeah.
It was really weird, but it was cool. It was nice. Then we're just floating, and they floated us together in a little area at the end. Like, here you go.
Yeah, they had a little float pod, like a little lane. Pool. And we're just gonna park you here in the lane and just float there as long as you want and leave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was nice. It was a really cool experience. So that was our fun. Everyone has to do this. Their skincare is great. Because we got the skincare. Michael got me the skincare for my birthday, and they had a serum that came with it.
I know you were raving about it last night.
It's great. I mean, I've been using it every day, and my skin is glowing and just nice and even. And I'm like, wow, this is actually really great stuff. So it is worth it. I mean, it's great for your skin.
Scrubbing my face with that volcano.
Yeah. It was very nice. Highly recommend. Really cool, awesome looking thermal pools. Just,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a tourist trap. But I don't know how you would go there and not do it.
And it's worth it.
It's cool.
It's very cool. And then we hit up the medieval fishing village on the way back that night too. Yeah.
That was definitely
Skellendagar.
Worth. Well.
Oh yeah. Are you gonna say it? He's gonna say it. No.
No, I was just coughing.
Okay,
say what?
I had to go to the bathroom.
Oh, well, I wouldn't have said it. You brought it up.
Talk about it.
Oh, we definitely have to talk about it now.
I had to go to the bathroom.
You found a GPS to it, and you turn on that road, and it was not
undrivable.
It was undrivable in the car we were in. And we weren't in, like a Jeep or it
would have been hard in a Jeep.
But it was undrivable in the car we were in, to where we only drove in, I don't know,
I thought it was farther than it was, and it was not. We drove in maybe 0.01 miles.
Yeah, very little.
And we're like, okay, well,
and I guess the car is going to break on this road.
It's 0.6 miles away. We'll just walk 0.6 miles.
It was 0.6 miles from the end point.
Yeah. Yeah.
We walked several miles to...
Oh, we did. We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just parked, we just pulled the car over and then walked the rest of it.
Yep.
And it's also very unclear where it is. It's just ruins, so we weren't sure what we were looking for.
Well, there was a parking lot, and it's ruins made out of volcanic stone in just a vast, desolate wasteland of like volcanic stone. So you're like, well, I don't know what. Yeah.
Like on the beach.
I don't know where it is, and then I pulled up Google, like my maps, and it was also not exactly accurate on where it was in Google. So I'm like, well, it says it's supposed to be here, and it's not. And eventually, if you kind of keep walking down this road that you're on, you get to it. And then once we like got to the big, okay, well, there's a sign here, and we went through the little path, and then we walked through.
Yeah, we did find it, but it was unclear where it was supposed to be for quite a while.
Yes. Yeah. But it was like old medieval, like, volcanic stone huts just in the side of the beach.
But yeah, Mallory got all the way out there and then was like, I have to go to the bathroom so bad, I have to poop so badly.
I wasn't sure I was gonna make it.
I wasn't sure you were gonna make it either.
I mean, there was a point where
you like ran away and were like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm like, I don't know what that means. We're literally in a waste. We're in a there's not even leaves. Like like they're like the joke of like wiping yourself with leaves, like in the woods. There's no trees. It's literally just a barren volcanic wasteland. Like, what are you gonna do? Wipe yourself with some volcano rocks?
I was gonna figure the wiping out later. I was gonna poop in the sand like a cat.
It's a good podcast.
I mean, I didn't.
That's the real Weird World adventure.
I made it.
That's also in season 2.
No, we left that part out. Although Michael hunting for hidden folk.
Yeah.
With our thermal imaging camera.
Thermal imaging camera, oh my god.
Great stuff.
It only captures heat from like 3 feet away. You just have this, you just wanted an excuse to buy a thermal imaging camera.
I really did.
It's just...
I can get you from like 20 feet away.
No.
Yeah,
no
I did
way.
it in this house. I did.
I don't believe that for a second.
You.
Okay.
I'll prove it.
Yeah.
But it was pretty wonderful. Very cool sight. It was something. It was unlike anything I've seen before.
It was very cool.
Yes. So that was definitely worth it. And then we our Iceland trip was.
Well, no, we stayed in a bubble.
We did stay in the bubble.
Then we finished in the bubble.
We did. The bubble was so great. It was just literally like a bubble tent.
Yeah, it's kind of glamping. Yeah,
it's not like, because I had stayed in Kaukslautenham before and they were glass, so it had like a lock on the door.
No,
and this was like, it's a tent,
a plastic tent bubble,
and there's no key. You just walk in, because I'm wondering, how do we get our key? And like, oh no, we just walk right in the bubble.
Yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere.
It's in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it's not like you have to worry. Right. But yeah, and it was just this big plastic bubble, but they did a good job because it was in this like random forest just that happened to awkwardly be there, and it was perfectly covered by trees, so it wasn't like anyone's gonna see you.
Yeah, there was like 8 bubbles maybe, and you couldn't see the next bubble.
No, they were very nicely covered by trees. So that was, and I think the same people have another property. Yeah, my music. I think the same people have another property.
Okay.
And
Is it also bubbles?
Also bubbles, okay. But I didn't like it as much because it's like a vast field of bubbles. And so you're right up on the next bubble.
See the other bubble.
But there's a room behind it. So it's like a room. So you have your own room and toilet and that whole stuff, but then the bubble comes out like the bedroom. But I still I feel weird sleeping near other bubbles. I didn't like it as much. I like being hidden in the woods.
I just have a problem sleeping in my bubble near other bubbles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Iceland was wonderful.
Yes.
As you can tell, it was quite weird. We had some very strange experiences. it made my dreams of Weird World Season 2 come true, because those are things I've been conceptualizing since the beginning.
When you sold me Weird World Season 2, like when you first gave me like what your list of ideas was, you led with Elf School.
Yeah.
Like that's what I remember you.
And the Penis Museum.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was on board for the Penis Museum. That didn't take any selling.
No, but I did sell you on Elf School.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's just been on the bucket list forever. Yeah. So it was very cool. And while we couldn't dive in between the tectonic plates necessarily this time, we did get to hang out. Them. Yeah, sat between them and collect some nice sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had a Prosecco.
I did have
between
a Prosecco.
Between two tectonic plates.
My drink of choice. Yeah. All right. Well, that's everything we have for you guys today. Next time we will talk about Hotelanga, which was very, very amazing and deserves its own podcast.
Yes.
Yes. But until then, I'm your host, Mallory.
And I'm your host, Michael.
And until next time, everybody, stay weird.